How you doing? Welcome back. I'm Rick and this is WindersRanger. I wanted to share just a quick 6-month update on the HEPA filter modification to the RV air conditioner, the air intake. I'm not sure if I have a small issue with the front air conditioner or not. I might. I was having some, it seemed like it didn't want to kick on. It was having some issues with, it would run through its cycle, and then when it would reach temperature again, it wouldn't come on again. And I don't know if that's an issue with that, or maybe I was just misreading the temperature. I don't have a gauge inside the room other than the thermometer or the thermostat to tell me what the temperature is, so I don't know how accurate that wall mount is. Thinking that part of the problem might have been the filter, I decided to pull the front filter down and take a look at it, and I don't remember which way. Let's see, this would be the downside. This was the air intake side, and if you can see where I used the tape to tape it to the plastic filter holder, and you can see the difference in the coloration there. This is the inside that was on the air intake side, or the blower side, and it's obviously dirty, but it's not dirty where it's coming off on my fingers, so I don't know. I would assume that this is just it's dust and lint and different things actually embedded in the filter, but the HEPA filter mod seems like it's definitely working. It's definitely filtering something, but as dirty as what that one was, I decided to go ahead and take the one down in the main living area, which is this one. And let's see, this would be the outside portion. Is not quite as bad. You can see, I don't know what the difference is there, but actually I can tell you what that is. There's a control box up inside the air conditioner, and this filter sits up, and that box is right about there, so it probably is lessening the amount of air that's coming through this portion. That's why that's lighter than the rest of it. That's on the inside. So same thing, it's not coming off on my fingers, so that's good. It's definitely stopping whatever that is. I don't know if that's dust, or maybe it's just discolorization for being in that air conditioner housing. There is a little bit of moisture, because right above there is where the condenser coils are. It's supposed to trap all that moisture and drain that off the roof, and it drips down the side. I've noticed the front one tends to get a little bit of moisture, probably more just a temperature difference, condensation on the housing. So I don't know, maybe that discoloration might have something to do with that also. But I did a quick inspection of the inside blower housing, the coils, and some of the electrical components on the back side of this filter to see if I was getting any dust buildup, and it looks nice and clean. It looks a whole lot cleaner than the old RV. Now that old RV had 10 years on this one, but the standard filter media that they give you is this stuff. It's just I would say maybe a very light or medium density foam, and after a while this stuff will break down and start to come apart on you. But you can even see, you know, you can see right through that basically. The old RV with this stuff, I had a heck of a time keeping the coils clean. I had actually cleaned those one time. I never got a chance to make a video on that. Maybe I'll do that with this one. But it took a couple. You get a can of this spray stuff to clean the coils, and then you rinse them down. It took a couple cans of that stuff to actually get the coils satisfactorily clean. It could have been better. I was trying to be careful, because when you open this up and you take the roof off, and or the cover off the AC housing, and you open up the blower and the condenser coils, you can look right down inside the RV. So if you get too liberal with the water that you're rinsing those coils off with, it's going to come right down inside on your floor. So probably if you do that, and this is a whole different video, but if you decide to do that, be mindful. You may want to put a tarp down, painter's plastic, maybe a plastic tub if you can get it right underneath of it, just to catch any water that comes through. But in any case, I cut out new filters. If you haven't seen the old video, I'll try to link that in this one. You can go back and watch it if you'd like. I just took a regular residential paper filter for an HVAC system. You know, it's the pleated, corrugated, not corrugated, but pleated kind. I'm trying to put this one back the way that it was, but it's not wanting to stay. But you know, the pleat, it's in the HEPA filter housing. It looks something like that. It's got the cardboard stuff around it. I just peeled the cardboard off. I got 2 of them, and by the looks of those, I probably should have changed that sooner than 6 months. Either way, but both air conditioners seem to be working okay with whatever, minus whatever the issue is with the front one, and it may not even be an issue there. I have noticed that depending on the weather, now this is Florida, so it's hot anyway, and this particular place where the RV is at is direct sunlight all day long. The front of the rig is back this way, so this would be, we'll call it the driver's side, passenger side. The driver's side sees the morning sun, so as the sun comes up, you know, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then it's moving around the front and then coming around this side, you know, 10, 11, 12, and then into the afternoon. So I can put the awning out on this side and kind of protect the RV from the sun and try to keep this side of the rig cooler. But the front of the rig's getting the morning sun, and then it moves around this side. So I've noticed a temperature difference in how I set the thermostat for the back as opposed to the front. I try to run both air conditioners. I don't want them to run, preferably not both at the same time. It's sucking down a lot of electricity that way. But preferably what I want is the front one to come on, and then the main one comes on, and then it gets cold enough up front, shuts that one off, and then this one runs, shuts off, and then after a pause the front one comes back on a little later and just alternates back and forth. That way I don't have one air conditioner just running all day long. With the Florida heat down here, I could easily have just one air conditioner running, and it'll run, you know, by the time you get to 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's so hot outside that that air conditioner, to keep it manageable in here, say 75-ish, 75 to 77, it's going to run the rest of the afternoon, and in some cases they do. So, and it's taxing on RV air conditioners, especially as a full-time RV. They're not really made for that. It's made for, you know, summertime use, 3, 4, 5 months out of the year, and then sitting someplace. So trying to prolong the life as much as I can of the air conditioners by not having them run continuously. So that's why I try to alternate both of them. But in any case, with that type of usage, with these filters, now we're just coming out of winter, so it didn't get used near as much in the wintertime. In Florida, it still did see a little bit of use here and there. You know, mostly in the afternoon it gets warm. And the insulation in RVs tend to be so poor that it gets hot in here. Whatever the ambient temperature is outside, as it's warming or cooling, the RV is an hour or 2, maybe 3 hours behind that temperature difference as it warms or cools, you know, as the temperature fluctuates. So in any case, I'm satisfied with it. I think it was a decent mod. I don't see any appreciable issues as far as cutting down on the airflow into the unit. It's not a perfect seal, you know, when you get that filter in there, because it's not made for that particular application. I've experimented this. Some of the experimenting I've done, of course these are only the first 2, I cut it out to fit exactly the way the black filter media was, and cut around the tabs on the thing that holds the filter up inside the air conditioner. I had to use some tape on that. I didn't really like that design. So when I stuck the new ones in yesterday, I cut out the new filters and I stuck those in. What I basically did the same thing, but rather than cutting it out exactly the same size as the plastic holder, I let an overhang, maybe 1/4 of an inch, something like that, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. So that way when you shove that thing up inside, that was kind of sticking out around the edges to hold it up in there a little bit tighter. I thought that might be better. It would look a little bit sloppy, but I thought it would look a little, or it would function better by, you know, forcing it in there and holding it nice and tight. That's how they both are now. I'll turn the camera around so you can see it, but I don't know. I'm not sure that I like it. It's not as good of a seal, or it doesn't fit as tight as what I originally thought. So I may go back to the tape option. I don't know. I may go to the hardware store and see if I can get maybe some springs or something that can clip onto that on the inside and hold those down tight, so that way it cuts down on the amount of air that can get around it. Because the more air that escapes around the edges of that filter media, the more chance you've got to have dust and dirt and stuff ingress into your AC unit. So, but as far as airflow, I haven't seen any issue. You know, now it's kind of a crapshoot, just sort of a scientific wild guess. But I don't see, you know, without doing any actual measurements of the airflow and stuff like that, I don't think it's going to have any issues with it. So I with my allergies, I have seen a difference with that. When I put these in, and it kind of filters the air for me rather than getting a HEPA filter, a standalone HEPA filter to clean the air. I'm thinking that these are kind of doing that for me. You know, draws a lot of the air, probably 80 to 85% of the room air, I would think, is going to probably go through those air conditioners. It does pretty good, I think. So I'm going to keep doing it. If I have any problems, of course, I'll come back and I'll update with a new video. But in any case, you know, like I said, they're just a standard HVAC air filter that I picked up at Lowe's. I don't remember the particular brand now. I think I showed it in the old video, but it was just the corrugated or the pleated paper filter inside the cardboard housing, and I just peeled the cardboard off around the edges, and tried to lay it out as flat as I could and just cut it out to fit and shove that up in there, and it seems to be working just fine. So in any case, I appreciate you joining me, and we'll see you guys on the next video.